Find either the chair or get down onto the floor. And I've been working with, how do I work with my knee? And I've been sharing with you the journey of healing the knee. And it's not that different from healing any other part of your body. Like I can't really sit on a cushion with both legs together in the way I usually sit, which is a nice stretch of my hip on the right side. But now my left hip is going to need some other kind of stretching. But my left leg is out straight, and I can sit up tall this way. So you're just kind of looking at, well, how do I support my spine? I'm on a cushion to tilt the pelvis forward. It's interesting that all my clothing, even though I'm wearing a new piece that I tried, looks black on the screen. So here we go. I'm just studying my new clothes. I bought one piece, and it's going to be a dark black color almost. So closing your eyes and finding your breath and coming into the mudra. And what we were just looking at is, sign language is all mudras. And, there's hundreds, maybe thousands by now that have been uncovered of the mudras of the hands and how they relate to the nadis of the body. The nadis are the Ayurvedic energy system, like the meridians, and all the meridian points and acupuncture points are the Chinese system or the Asian system. And with that, it's really part of the understanding of the great matrix. And last night in my shamanic group, that's what I put forward to the group is to look at the flower of life and the matrix that it creates by the vortices of every place that a circle overlaps another circle. And you can put the flower of life over the body, and you could also just then take it and the circle that is made from all the circles that make the flower of life on top of your body. And then you can take that flower of life and expand it into our circle. So no matter where we are, we can reach the edges of each of our circles and touch each other. And every place that those circles overlap makes a point of light, a point of overlap. And then we can bring in all of our own circles of women or people in our families, all of those through our imagination. And that's the kind of working with beyond 3 dimensions where I'm talking about. And that you go to that and you get all the circles, and you don't have to think of each individual. You just know who they are because they're already in your heart. I mean, every single person I've ever loved is in my heart. And so, every person that's ever come to one of my classes, they're in my heart because they're immediately, I immediately connect my heart to them. So we're circles upon circles upon circles. And with that, we come to this vision of the vortices, and where they cross, you can imagine a light beam. And as we circle the earth, you can imagine us circling the earth and touching with all the other light workers that are doing the same meditation 24 hours a day, working with this image, because this is a geometrical image, even as a single flower of life of each person. All of the geometric solids and all of the other sacred geometric shapes can be created from this shape. So it contains like all the mathematics of who we are, inside, outside, and all around us. So with that, we are now imagining the earth with all of this, circles upon circles upon circles of life, of all the beings on the planet that are meditating, that are working with this. And you don't have to be meditating actively, close your eyes, stopping. It's something eventually you just hold in your consciousness, and that you walk through life and you go, oh yeah, that's a light being over there. There's light beings everywhere. That's humanity. That's, if you could see the auras of the trees and the flowers and everything else, they're all going to have the light coming out of them, because the light is what we ultimately are. And light and sound, the speed of light is like one of the only things, the only measurements in science that is constant and doesn't change at all. So shine your light as you're working with this, and recognize that your understanding of getting beyond three-dimensional thinking comes from the pineal gland, and you're strengthening that pineal gland, which is directly behind, at the back of your throat, directly to the back of your head. So if you think of your throat and you think of where it is, you can imagine it in the back of your head there. Then breathe gratitude through your heart. And that gratitude just expands your light, because it lights up the neurites of the heart. You connect to the brain, which is what has been controlling us forever, because we didn't know about how we have nervous system in the heart and the gut. And so now we know that this nervous system, the central nervous system, is, the key to a lot of the ways we can understand how to change our brains. And often, like, the gut will take on something because the brain is got an illness by having the wrong kind of thinking. And we know that now. It's all scientifically shown how to change our brain and how to change and support our own healing. Bring the fingertips together in a mudra that connects the first 5 chakras, and thumbs to your heart. And just then imagine the visible spectrum, because that's all we see, but it's not what's there. So the understanding of that visible spectrum is the understanding of 3D. A line, a square, and a box. When you go outside your box, which is a nice new term of like breaking our old patterns, going outside our box is to really envision the 3-dimensional sphere of the flower of life around the earth. Then bring the thumbs up to the third eye and remember that the new sensory perceptions that Rudolf Steiner said that would emerge at this time on the planet, imagination, inspiration, intuition, and integration. And in Waldorf education, they teach 15 sensory perceptions. There used to be 12. Now there's 15. And that opens that third eye, which also goes to the center of the brain, pituitary, hypothalamus, pineal, and hippocampus. And all of those pieces are really involved in the changing of the brain. Then tap the top of the head and remember the violet flame, because we've worked with the violet flame. And that violet flame is the power of 3 in the heart. And you could look at it as the Christian power of 3, or any other, the triangle, the Celtic understanding of the power of 3, all of the different ways that the power of 3 comes in. And then recognize that we're much bigger than this, and at this point, there are 12 chakras. There are 12 aspects of deity, and there are 12 lost strands of DNA, and there's a million other of ways of looking at the number 12. And 12, 2 plus 1, is the numerology for 3. So you're back to the power of 3. Take a deep breath in and out as we acknowledge the soul above the crown, the soul star chakra, it's a galactic chakra, and the universe chakra, because we can see them. Using our inner vision, we know what they look like. Then bring the hands to our heart. And know that you are, what we're doing here, especially since the power of 8 has been proven, is that we are changing the world. Bringing your hands to your heart and considering you honor yourself. Namaste. And I am that I am my I am presence, and I'm at one with all that is. And I'm vibrant and radiant and strong and creative and magnificent and just stupendous. I am all of that, and I sparkle and shine. And sometimes I feel inside myself the fire inside of me that calls me forward. I have a calling. And sometimes it changes and morphs, and I don't always find my way. It's like a part of the great mystery to go, what is that? What is calling me now? Honoring myself in the journey of being in a body, a physical body, and knowing that the journey in this physical body is not necessarily an easy one, especially if you are aware and you're in touch with the details of this moment. And you might be noticing all the little places that you feel extra in your body. And then there might be something in your mind or your spirit or your emotional self, or your relational self, the parts of the self that maybe hold a little bit of difficulty. The awareness is the key to this expansion. And then release this visual meditation. And if you've been seated, find a way to release that. For me, it's going to be shaking out my legs. If you're down on the floor already, fabulous. Or if you're in the chair, consider coming down to the floor. Now I've tried, I am trying, and I see I'm going to get up and adjust the screen a little bit to see the whole mat. And then I should work with this, you see, and go down. Even though I can do the other, sometimes I pay for it later. So I'm down on the floor, and pull the knees into your chest and roll the knees in a circle, and finding the breath and just seeing if this is like soothing to you. Other direction. Now, I always say to you that you want to make this time together that we have, make it your own. Like if you need to do other things that are more vigorous, then do them. I'm still needing to work a little slower. So I'm being really more careful. Pull the knees in and bring the head up to the knees and the hands down to the feet. Now, you don't have to go to the feet. I immediately went up to my hands beneath my knees. You could have your hands on the shins or the knees or down to the feet. But for me, in order to do this, I don't want my knee to bend as much as it would if I pulled in from the feet like I usually do. And breathe into the feeling of this tightness and this contraction and this making yourself small. It's called the seed. And this seed is like planting the seed that has to break its shell. And then 5-pointed star is the opposite of that, into full expansion. This is the box. The seed is the box that we have to break out of the box. And it's a breaking out of our box, body, mind, spirit. It's breaking out in all of our ways that we might have thought before, recognizing our old ways of thinking and being able to see, what is the new way? Can I accept the new way? Am I open to the new ideas? Can I open to this idea of light and dimensions or vibrations? You don't have to use the word dimension, just call it a vibration. 5-pointed star is the also the understanding of that connection with opening yourself to the whole thing. It's what Pema Chodron, awakening to the full catastrophe, awakening to the wholeness of your whole beingness, body, mind, spirit, physical, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, relational. Then feet flat on the floor and drop the knees side to side. Dropping the knees side to side, see if this feels luxurious to you, to move the pelvis in a gentle way. And as you navigate the different changes and also the awareness of like stiffness in your body or injuries that need a special attention. Know that there's within you this higher consciousness that will, guide you if you listen to it. Then bring the knees over to one side, and you can have the knees, feet, and thighs together and stacked on top of each other. You can have the bottom leg cross over the top leg and bring a weight onto that right leg. I mean um, that that uh, the twist. It brings your weight of your body more onto the twist, and then you can use a block or a cushion behind you and between your knees, and you turn the head opposite. So I'm doing that today where I don't usually, but my body is going to be saying this for a while, is to go to gentle and to go to more restorative postures. Now, in the world of like Iyengar yoga or restorative, real true restorative yoga, they would say stay in a comfortable posture where you're fully supported for 5 minutes. The research on this shows that it's that staying in a posture and just surrendering to all the different things you can as you're feeling your body relax more and more and more. Reminds the fascia of the body, which holds the body's stories, which holds the memories of your whole life. It reminds the fascia what to do, how to relax. And the fascia is around every cell of your body, but then it's in groupings throughout the body, in large groupings and smaller groupings. That's why at first people thought of it as like the sheath around muscles, but now we know that it goes further than that. So take a couple more breaths here. Know that the spinal twist is doing its work here, where you're actually relaxing, calming and energizing at the same time. This whole working with the spine. It's so amazing how it makes you feel later. Feel where you expand and how the expansion works and how far down into the body you can feel the breath. Can you feel it at the all the way down into the legs, into the shoulders, into the hands? Getting yourself to understand how to sense the breath in all parts of the body is a lesson in itself. Then come back to center, and sometimes that means pressing into your feet and bringing the pelvis back on the floor. Drop the knees to the other side, and then place if you have cushions and blocks, you can place them in places, but if you don't, then just turn your head to the opposite direction. Feet, knees, and thighs on top of each other, or bottom leg crosses the top, or just gentle knees over to the side with no support is fine too. Every single posture has modifications. There's no excuse at any time in our life to not engage in yoga. And Tai Chi is the same way. Qigong is the same way. They're all modified for, each person individually. In America, yoga became this thing that you followed a teacher and you kind of felt, like you had to go along with what the teacher did. And it became very narrow-minded, and then it became like people didn't feel comfortable going to a class if they couldn't do everything. And if a teacher doesn't really invite that, then you don't really know. If you're in a class, you just sort of follow along and you're trying to find your way. But in our age group, I think more teachers that teach in this age group actually offer, to be yourself, to listen to your body, to work with your own idiosyncrasies. Breathing and relaxing, feeling the breath expand. and then coming back to center. Now that was our rest before a little bit of invigoration. Today I'm going to try my first try doing a little bit of bridge rolls and see how my knee does. And seeing how my knee does means that it's not necessarily right now. It's probably going to like doing it in the beginning, but it's how it does tomorrow, because sometimes you don't feel it till the next day. So press into the feet and arms come over your head and exhale down. Find the deep breath. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Again, you don't have to bring your shoulders over your head. You can just leave them down by your sides. One of the things I like this for is to get us into that Dirga breath, or that full, complete breath. And you can slow this down to your own pace. You can go super slow. It's a little bit more strengthening to go slower in a lot of these postures. Inhale up. Slow, deep inhale. Exhale down. All the way out. Pause if you want. Inhale up. You can always hold at the top of the breath, and you can hold the posture, and then you can exhale down. There's so many variations that making it your own is making it the practice that your body needs. Now, the next time you come up, hold yourself there. And if it feels okay, pulse the hips to the ceiling. If it doesn't feel okay, take a block or a cushion and put it under the pelvis. And you can still squeeze the pelvis, squeeze the glutes there, but you have support when you come down. It's a little less strenuous on the lower back and the body. Then hold yourself up there. And if you're using a block, just settle down on the block or a cushion. And just hold yourself there for a moment. Then walk in place. And again, taking the block out, I just want to feel it if I'm ready for it. So I'm discerning, am I ready for this? And then I'm putting the block back. Part of the problem I've noticed is I've got my socks on. That makes me a little more slippery. I'm not on a sticky mat either. But they make yoga mats like this cushioning, and that's a yoga mat. Then bring yourself down, pressing into the feet, take the block out, or just pressing into the feet up onto your toes, and then down. Lengthen out the legs. It's a nice relaxation of the legs as you lengthen them out, and then shake them a little bit, and then stretch from the heels of the hands to the heels of the feet as you hold your breath. All of these breath patterns do slightly different things for the lungs. Hold the breath, hold the breath. Stretch as you hold the breath. And hold the breath as long as your body wants to before you let go of everything and relax. Sometimes if you've encountered a stressful time, doing something like that will really help release the tension that built up during that stressful time, is to tense the body, then release the body. Then a little bit for the core. So hands behind the head and feet flat on the floor. And this one we've been doing is just just working it with those transverse abdominals right in the core of the body, like coming down right in the front surface of the body, and blow the breath out, or breathe it out your nose, and at your own pace. So that means this can be put your arms down, lift up, down, slow, exhale. Or it can be faster. I seem to go for a certain speed. You have to decide. Then if you want more here, you put your feet up. If you want a little bit more, a little bit stronger on neck and core. And even with, I've had almost 3 weeks off. I came back last week, but I was just at the edge. But after 2 weeks, you really do lose your the muscle that you've created from before. So it's good to just keep on going if you can. Then hold the posture. Breathe, relax. Don't hold the breath. The breath becomes relaxed as you hold the posture. Static strengthening. And then pull the knees in. And put the feet back down on the floor. Hands behind the head again. Lace the fingers if you want. And knee to elbow. So again, the most gentle form of this is just to touch one knee and then the other with your hand, and you don't lift the head off the floor. Hands behind your head, elbow comes to one knee, your feet each come down to the floor. A little bit more, lift the legs up, straighten out one leg, maybe high up, straightening out one leg. Then you might want to work with a little more if you can, pointing the toe, lowering the leg down. Exhale on each side, that helps you. Go as slow as you need. If you've chosen something that is a little bit more vigorous, but it gets tiring, then go right back down. Then hold one side. And remember, we're actually working on the strengthening of the neck here, the arms here. You can feel a lot of different areas that are being worked. So if you feel it later, that's because you're really working. You're working the muscles, you're noticing them, you're honoring that we're isolating certain muscles, and then back to center. Lengthen the legs out, lengthen the arms out. Notice how this stretches those core muscles here as you hold your breath again. And you can stretch side to side. You can stretch from opposite foot to opposite hand. You can stretch both feet out, flexing and holding your breath there. And then relax. Before we come up, place the feet on the floor and just jiggle the body through the cerebral spinal fluid balancer. And what happens here is you're just pushing off from the feet, and you're letting the spine do its natural kind of motion from the sacrum to the back of the head. And you're really activating from the center of the skull through the ears, where the first cervical vertebra sits on this, where the skull sits on the first cervical vertebra, down to the very base of the spine, at the sacrum, barely touching that tailbone, but really down to that sacroiliac joint. And it just, for me, just feels like bliss. And then slow it down. And today what we're going to do, we haven't done this in a long time, is go right over to our belly. So you just rolled right over, however it is for you. And you come up onto your elbows and you have a back bend. This is the Sphinx. Press into those elbows. You can sink down into your shoulders or press into the elbows, and you're down and up and down and up, and then hold. Pull in at the belly button. You'll feel those abdominals that we just worked. They're working for you. They're helping to hold you up so not all the weight of your body is into your neck and shoulders. You raise up out of the crown of the head. Your fingertips, widen the hands down onto the mat so that you kind of imagine yourself with webbed fingers, perhaps like a frog, and you're pressing in, or even a lizard. This is the Sphinx. Now imagine what you know about the Sphinx and how amazing that image and how sacred the great Sphinx is that we all imagine by thinking about a Sphinx. And then look around to the back of your feet, and you're going to use the spine in that curving, that side-to-side curve. Breath. And you can go slower here. We're going to go over to the right side and just hold. And you're looking kind of past your shoulder down to your feet, relaxing the toes on your mat. And then the other direction. Looking over, holding for a moment, feeling the curve of the spine. Now the shoulders can get really worked out here, like it's a workout to hold here. We're going to come down, bring the arms down by your sides, press into the pelvis, and see if you can lift your toes and your arms and your hands off the floor, even if it's just a little bit. Now you can always take those hands, place them palmed up underneath your pelvis, and that helps a little bit. You can have the forehead on the floor, and that's another posture. So you don't have to lift the head and the shoulders, but if you can, there you are. Now you might be able to migrate those hands out to the sides, and you might be able to migrate them over your head. I have one shoulder that doesn't like to do that, so I stay sort of out by the sides. You can also lace the fingers behind your back. So you've got all these options. Then come down for a moment. Rest, turn your head to the side, and windshield wiper the legs. This is a release for the lower back. And so take a moment to just, feel luxuriate, sort of like, wow, doesn't this feel so good? Just windshield wipering the legs. Not the fancy windshield wipers that go side to side. I just go side to side like the old-fashioned way. And then back to center. This is called the boat. So you come back to center, chin on the floor, hands down by the sides, airplane position, T position, or over your head, and press into the pelvis and lift up wherever you can. Maybe you want to put the hands behind your back. This opens the shoulders in the opposite way, or hands out to the sides, hands somewhere else over your head if your shoulders like that. Gentle, moderate, or vigorous. And breathe and rock the boat with your breath. And then let it go. Turn the head to the side, maybe to the other side, opposite side, so you're getting a little neck stretch there. Palms face up. It's a little more restful on the shoulders. And then back to center. Press into your hands and press up into your hands and knees. Yes, I should protect my knee a little bit more, so I'm going to fold my mat over while I do this. Yeah. And then just cat-cow. And if you have wrists that are hurting or hands that are challenged in one way or another, you just find your own way with that. But fists are always really nice. Then pause in one direction. Breathe into the spine and pause in the other direction. Now we're only going to come up for a short time. And so you tuck your toes and bring yourself up and lengthen out one leg at a time. See if that works for you. And see, I've progressed a little because that felt pretty good. This feels really good. Walk yourself to your hands or your hands to your feet. Hang over in ragdoll. Breathe into it. Your elbows can be on your knees. Your hands can be up on your knees. Each level just is a little more gentle on the body. Then press into the feet and bring yourself all the way up, arms up, and a little tiny back bend, and hands to your heart. Half sun salutation. Hands to your heart. Now you want to track over your knees all the time. So you want to look at that, how that works. Bend the knees, and if you bend and you look straight down, you see the knee goes kind of over the second toe. The big toe is showing. You just try to work with that to see how your knees are tracking. Then inhale the arms down and up, and a little tiny back bend. Swan dive down, bend the knees. Ragdoll. Straight legs, flat back, look up. And your hands will go wherever your body wants to bend there. You know, it can be below the knees or above the knees. If it's on the knees, just don't press into the knees. And then bend the knees down, ragdoll. Inhale up and back and to your heart. Inhale down and up and back. Swan dive down, bend your knees. Ragdoll. Inhale, straight legs, flat back, look up. Exhale down, inhale up and back into your heart. And I always say this is a great little practice that you can do anywhere that kind of gets the whole spine in its this way with the back and a little back bend, and inhale down and up and a little back bend. Exhale gets the breath in a controlled manner. Exhale all the way. Straight legs, flat back, look up, and just look and see how that stretches your lower back. Exhale down, inhale up and back into your heart. Now you can do this on the wall as well, or on a chair. So I'm just going to show you today as I do this one more. Hands at the heart, inhale down and up and back. Swan dive down, bend your knees, and your hands come to the chair. Straight legs, flat back, look up, and your hands are on the chair. Bend the knees again, your back, you bend the knees again, and it's this wonderful stretch for the lower back as you then press into the feet, come up in a little tiny back bend and to your heart. So that's the chair. You can do the same thing on the wall. Then inhale the arms up and inhale up and toe balance. So toe balance challenges your feet in one way that is a balancing posture. And you might see, like, how did the feet do a little wobble, stare at something not moving. If this is not good over the head, then hands at the heart. And then as you come down, bend the knees slightly. Okay, so you can go further than me, but what you want to look for is, can my lower back keep its curve? So it's not a straight spine, it's not a curved spine forward. It's how can I put the top of my head, and you can top the top of your head, the crown, and drop a plumb line down through the body and feel the stability of this posture. Hands at the heart, hands out front. If you have your hands out in front of you, and then reach forward and drop the shoulders back and down. We have a tendency to fold forward a little bit. So you want to put yourself back into alignment. Use the abdominals. Zip up from the belly button. Work this abdominal area. Squeeze at the pelvic floor. And also your hands can come above your head. The common mudra here is temple mudra, which is lacing the fingers and the pointer finger up. I don't know, it's hard to see on the screen. And the thumbs are kind of crossed, and and this is the symbol for the temple of the body. The body is the temple for the spirit. And then you hang out there, and again, arms above. You're going to feel a little bit of shoulder strengthening. If you hold your hands up a lot here, you're going to feel that arm strengthening. Hands at your heart relaxes the shoulders and gives you support at the hands. Now, if I keep you here too long, then you're going to come up. For me, what I'm doing is I'm loading my knee. I'm loading the quad to strengthen the knee. And this is one of the things I have to do to get that knee back up to speed. So staying here for, let's see, what did he want me to do? Like, count to 30 and then release it and shake it out. And then I'll probably do that another like 10 times today, at different times of the day for different purposes. Then back to center, one balancing posture. We'll come back down to the floor. So we did the toe balance, but that's a little different than trying one foot. And again, it's good for your quad, to strengthen the quad. It also requires strength in your glutes. So noticing what it takes to be on one foot and then playing with that. So I'm going to start with my right foot, which is my good leg, and bend the knee. And we're going to do tree today. So the toe on the floor is going to be enough for some of us. And you might want your hand on a chair or a wall. So, the wall or the back of the chair. That doesn't work for me unless I turn the chair around, but a wall is good. And your hands at your heart. Now I'm also going to come down. I'm going to come onto the floor and try this, because now that I have a wood floor, one of the things I wanted is to be able to have the wood floor to do balancing postures, because it's much more stable on a wood floor. Hands at your heart. Now you can bring that foot all the way up to your inner thigh if you want, above the knee, the toes above the knee. Your arms can come over your head or anywhere else. Arms are expressive. And you always want to play with falling out of the posture, falling out of the posture, up into tree, fall out, up into tree, fall out. And then going on to the other foot, where I am going to use the wall. So using the wall, and let's see, my new studio here, using the wall, hands at the heart. Now I could just put my elbow on the wall and going on to the left foot. So toe on the floor, toe above, hands at the heart, or just hold yourself up. Now, because this is the knee that needs rehab, this is enough. This is good for it, but it's enough not to let go of the wall and try to balance and have that foot wobble and have the knee have to work so hard. And then down. Okay. Let's see. Coming down, you might want to set yourself up. You consider what would be the best posture for you. I would either do supported, supported shoulder stand with a block or a cushion where the legs are straight up, or the reclined goddess. And you can do them without support or with support. And I've shown you all the different modifications for all of those postures. I love this one, and this one you can use with a rolled up blanket, or you can do it with these long cushions or a bolster of any kind, or again, you can use different kinds of things, even a rolled up mat. So there's a lot of options. Roll down the spine and bring yourself back into downward dog. And then down onto the floor and back around and back down onto the cushion if you want, or again, easy to, bring the legs up. Now I can do that with the cushion under my body too. But it's just a different feeling when you bring your shoulders down further. And this would be supported shoulder stand. You can also put your legs up the wall. All of these are really nice postures to close with. And then just settle into whatever closing posture that you've decided on. And I haven't put a link into the email yet on the 12 chakras, because there's still a lot of different ways that people are looking at this. It's still unfolding. But the last time on Tuesday, we went through the chakras while we were in this posture. It's still unclear this list that you're going to hear are the 12 aspects of the DNA, the lost DNA, they say, that's been recovered during this time of expanded vibration. And so the SNPs on our DNA have been maybe reignited or opened, or I don't even know how to use the right language there. But the first one is sapphire blue, which is your power and protection. And the second is sunshine yellow, which is a brilliant, a blazing sun of divine wisdom, illumination, enlightenment. Then crystal pink, which is tolerance and reverence for all of life and oneness. You know, and often in the understanding and uncovering of the chakras, of the 7 chakras, the heart would be pink and green. And now it's even more profoundly understood, the pink color, which is right under the heart. Then white, purity, ascension, and hope. Emerald green, illumination, truth, healing, and vision. And then ruby red, grace and devotion. Violet, where we've been working with the color violet, we've been familiar with its transformation, transmutation, freedom, liberty, forgiveness, magic, and ceremony. So that violet flame is part of that understanding of this brilliant, blazing sun of a violet color. Aquamarine, number 8, perception and clarity. Number 9, magenta, harmony, balance, and confidence. Number 10, abundance, peace, prosperity. Number 11 is the peach color, purpose, joy, happiness, and selfless service. Number 12 is the opal color. So, you know, imagine an opal and imagine why this would be transfiguration and transformation. So just take that in. And I've been working with this with you during the pandemic, is drawing that opal and peach color. You know, I like to combine them. They're the 11th and 12th, and drawing that up from the center of the earth and filling your body with that color. This transformation, transfiguration, purpose, joy, happiness, and selfless service. And sometimes in my work with paying it forward, that selfless service is the place that comes in. And it also comes into sharing what you learn here with other people. And then it also comes into whatever your calling is in the world, and even being true to yourself and finding your truth is all, you know, it's all paying it forward. It's all selfless service. It's all the color of this peach and the understanding of opal, which is this translucent kind of interesting changing color that is a little bit mesmerizing and magical, but has a lot of that peach color in it. And so fill the body with that color, and that ability to use your imagination and fill the body with that color, and then shine it out through the cells of your body so that you can imagine yourself shining this color like a blazing, shining sun of opal and peach. These are also called the 12 aspects of deity. So this is, you know, the 12 aspects of the divine. Involved in telecommunication are these 12 solar strands of DNA that have been dormant they say that they've been dormant because of the ego and how the ego works to limit us, limiting us and actually creating our pain a lot more, creating the pain body, creating the negativity, creating the I'm not good enough sort of syndrome of humanity, and certainly our country. So imagine that these 12 dormant strands of DNA are awakening as we start to look at this number 12, and then use the 1 and the 2 of the symbology of and the numerology of the number 12 to bring you back to the power of 3 and the power of threefold flame in your heart. And with that power of threefold flame in our heart, we're looking at the transformation from the 7 chakras to the 12. Then again, staying right here or going into Shavasana for a moment. I'm going to go into Shavasana first before I come over, but you can stay right there in whatever position you were in to have a little closing. Shavasana is sort of the neutral posture, which can take you into what's called Yoga Nidra, which is yogic sleep, which is very powerful. So it's kind of like taking a very lucid dreaming nap where you don't actually go to sleep, but you just are able to be there in presence and then allow the consciousness to be resting. But sometimes visions come in Yoga Nidra. It's also super relaxing. So again, you can do this during the day at any time. Especially, I like to do this around 3 to 4 o'clock or even close to 5 during the summer when I'm just feeling tired from the day. But I don't go to sleep. I don't take a nap. I go into Yoga Nidra, which is relaxation from the toes to the crown of the head and to the hands to the fingertips. Lessening the tension in the jaw and the eyes, and letting it all be just centered and grounded into the earth. Watching the breath. Now you can stay here or bring your hands to your heart. May we have peace, and may what we do here go out onto the world and make more peace. And then if you're wanting to come back, roll over to your side, rest on the side. Feel the tug of that quantum field, which is made out of 4 forces. You know, it's the gravity. It's the gravity we feel with the weight of the body. So feel that gravity. The hardest forces to feel are the nuclear forces. Bringing yourself up and still feeling how gravity changes you into this mermaid position is the most natural way. And then how we come up from here is not necessarily really natural. But that's when you lose your consciousness and go, how do I want to come up from here? And for me, it's going to be wand to the right knee, pressure into that left knee, use my hands to help and press the back leg straight and come up.